I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Gary Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996 I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
We've both been skull and bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
on.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the red
Number 322.
I have duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague, Tim Russert, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
What the fuck's up? Welcome to another Already Dead, your favorite weekly parapolitical conspiracy call-in variety show. I am Jose Galison. I am joined as always by the illustrious co-host Austin Picard and our producer young Jules. Gray-pilled. Every single one of these is a veteran of the tinfoil hat gang now. Which I think we talked about this. I've definitely told you guys on Morning Dumps and stuff, but I got a little bit thrown off. We thought we were going to be recording the same day. There was issues with the recording, so there was a booking issue. We got recorded the following week, but Jules' episode already dropped. So that was his virgin popping moment for me and Austin, and we both had solo episodes, and then we just did and now I think we just did our second, couple episode, I guess, or whatever, kind of like duo episode. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool shit. Big shit happening over here. How did it feel, Jules? Because I think this is like your first like big show, wasn't it? Like, I don't know if there's any other like huge shows you've been on. I'm not sure. It's a cool moment when you finally get like, oh shit, like, and you got shit to talk about. So, I mean, you earned it. That's not to take anything away from you whatsoever. So, I know we tease you a little bit, but I mean,
y'all can tease. Okay.
You can tell he definitely was looking forward to another episode. You left him wanted more.
Yeah, man. I mean, he said that I dropped the hammer of the gods, so I think that counts for something. It was very surreal going in there. I mean, I've been listening to Sam and the boys I guess since right there at 2019, maybe. So about 5 or 6 years. Yeah, it was something, dude. It really, I didn't know how I would do it first, but I think I did pretty good. I always think I could do better, obviously, but
the first time with Sam is a trip because you're like, I don't know what Austin's experience was, but like, I know I came in ready for an Oklahoma City bombing episode for my first one, and then I got like, essentially sideswiped by like, oh, just kidding, we're also bringing Eddie Bravo, which is like cool. I was cool with it. But my point is like, it's very ADD, his delivery style, so you do have to kind of get used to it. But I don't know. I think the first time, then after that, you'll be like, you can accommodate for his craziness and be prepared with your presentation. For example, I think we did a good job of taking that into account our recent episode. Like essentially the notes we gave them were, I think, were perfectly set up for like here's squirrel brain to Sam. Like no shade, I'm squirrel brain too. Here you go. Look at all these different things, and these are all things we were capable of like interweaving with each other. So I'm really looking forward to you guys hearing about or checking out this episode. I think we did a really good job, so I'm looking forward to it. I know you did, so I'm looking forward to seeing you go back on. But I guess we're just kind of sucking each other off a little bit right now. So
it was so fucking funny on.
I don't mind glazing you guys. Just back a little bit,
brother. No, you did great, man. Like honestly, when you drop the hammer of the gods, that's a good sign, right? It definitely is when you go on TFH. But it's hard not to when you're that excited, when you actually are genuinely a fan, and loyal to the foil and a part of the swarm, right? It's hard not to kind of come correct just because you're too excited not to, you know what I mean? And like that's how it was for me, at least it felt that way when I was talking to him. I certainly didn't expect to come in and, the sole focus and priority was to discuss Ruby Ridge. And then we spent like an hour talking about the Vegas shooting, which is totally fine. And some Pizzagate shit thrown in there, I
think I had you on my podcast to talk about Ruby Ridge, and we talked about like the Boston bombing and 10 other things too.
It's only natural, right? But it's kind of a testament to my schizophrenic mind. But I can't help myself. But still, I think whenever,
it's good, dude.
Whenever we did,
I'm telling you, I really can't wait. Like literally, like I think if those who were following along and watched the morning show, we prepared our notes along with you guys, and literally, I'm pretty sure we hit every single one of those, if not more. Like all that preparation we put into the episode paid off because it was like we literally hit every little like sub point, and we're the point where like we were kind of having to remember other shit because it was like we used up everything and we weaved everything through, and he just let us fucking cook. And I kind of just, and we had played our roles perfectly. I kind of was like, hey, Austin, remember this thing? And then just boom. Then we go off and do another. And then I'm like, oh, what about this thing? Then we boom, off into another place. And that was just over and over and over again. Just bang. We hit every little, so our dicks taste dope, all right? We kicked ass. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'm telling y'all are going to love it. So I can't wait for that. But I guess kind of just as a rough segue out of that, unless you guys want to talk about that some more. One last point, Austin. Go ahead.
I did do it. Hey, the only fucking reason is because when I did the last episode or whatever this is, after we recorded TFH, it was so fucking funny, man. Because we're talking about the Ian Carroll episode with Rogan, and
well, this works for a segue into what I want to talk about, anyways. But
my drop on the perfect day is Ian Carroll,
right? Yeah. But I brought up the fact that basically he had utilized the terminology in the context of Whitney Webb's technocracy, and as far as how she may come across, I would say to the average individual who might become exposed to her work at first glance, she might come off as unhinged, is seemingly the context, right? And so I was kind of grappling with that as far as just the how I was a little bit disappointed in that sort of framing of Whitney's work, only because I view her as such a valuable resource. But at the same time, it is an interesting point. And Sam kind of put it into a different light that I wasn't quite, kind of like, it definitely wasn't a part of my perspective in regard to the way I was interpreting the context. But the way that he put it was, he's like, when you and Jose came on Wednesday, he's like, you guys did amazing. It was insane. And if you didn't notice, like he even tweeted about Gladio, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Project Gladio.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuck it, man.
I was like, whatever, dude, retweet.
Right.
Who
we
gives
had
a
a fucking
fuck?
effect. Yeah, exactly.
For those who don't get the joke, it's Operation Gladio.
Exactly.
Did he Project?
Yeah, he put Project Gladio, whatever.
Oh yeah. But he goes,
yeah.
He says, if you sent that episode that you guys just recorded on Wednesday.
Okay, because he gave no pushback. Sam was just like, I believe what you are saying. Let's move on. Oh, okay. This one sinister group was molesting children and selling them to other people molesting children, and they're controlling world governments and committing false flags. I completely buy everything you're saying. It's like no pushback whatsoever, which is great.
I was dying, man. It made me laugh so fucking hard. He was like, people would potentially view that as unhinged. Not just fucking.
I mean, every one of those points are for a normie. You're like, whoa, hold up. I'm gonna need some supporting documents. And like, we're so far past those supporting documents. You're like, okay, I mean, sure, but you're like really holding me up here.
No,
yeah,
doubt.
dude. I just started going as soon as I started talking. I was like, yeah, I have my notes, and just didn't look at them. Just fucking, He asked me about my show, and I just, I have 3 shows, and the whole.
It's so fucking funny, man.
It's all.
Yeah, I know.
But you said you watched some of the Ian Carroll episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I wanted to watch it because I've consumed little bits of his content here and there, mostly on Twitter, never on like TikTok or anything. I don't know, so mostly like the video content. And I think I watched him like he did like an appearance on, I want to say, Clint's show forever ago. But anyways, I watched a Rogan episode just because I was kind of curious, and I'm aware kind of how his cope. And I've been I like to be kind of reasonable on this topic, and I feel like if anything, maybe you guys might even get frustrated with me and be like, what the fuck? Why is he running cover? And it's like, because I don't really feel like there's anything solid with I like to have solid information, or at least I don't know, just something more. Like, at least like when I've talked about this before, like say with somebody like Ben's, like we brought up like thinking about his grandpa, and I've shown, we went into that, and there's something you're like, oh shit, okay, his dad worked for James Jesus Angleton, okay, that's a data point. For Ian, it's like, it legit is just like he grew fast, and then sort of some of his takes. But I will tell you, I watched that fucking Rogan episode, and there were 3 things that stood out that like, every one of them are like by themselves, I probably could like let it go and just be like, well, maybe somehow they're bending over backwards because XYZ, or I don't, what. But like the 3 of them together, especially like even if it's just 2 of them, that's already ridiculous. But the 3 of them together blew my fucking mind. One of them we fucking covered on I want to say it was one of the morning dumps. Maybe it was already dead. I don't think so. It was the bit where he was talking about, no, it was on the morning dump, but it was where Ian Carroll was talking about in his Rogan appearance about how he thinks that perhaps actually what's really going on is Miriam Adelson and Trump are like kind of have a coup going on against Netanyahu. And honestly, that's the least ridiculous of the 3. And that's because that's one even me and you have talked about. That's like, we've kind of always expected the shoe's going to fall at some point. So it wouldn't really be that surprising. I don't think you have anything to support this, and it just sounds kind of like boomer cope. But then it goes on. Then he brings up the Cone connections, kind of sort of hand waves those away, and then, but sort of maybe gives vague implications. But like, oh well, that he knows what this shows that like at the very least he knows about these sorts of networks, and like this is how he's kind of kept himself clean. It's kind of almost the implication. So he knows how to move in these circles. And so, like, he sort of, and then, not even just that, and then on top of all of that, he brings up, which is just something that was in Whitney's book, which is, pretty fucking wild, although you don't hear it get brought up a lot, namely because the main reason is because the claim comes from Epstein himself. So it's kind of one of those ones that, what do you really do with this? But apparently, I guess it was supposedly Epstein, this was a claim he made, is that he was the one who introduced Trump and Melania. And apparently, this is a thing he claimed he did for lots of well-to-do men. Is he would arrange them with women, whether it be girlfriends, dates, wives, whatever. That was just kind of how that worked. And he's the one who introduced Melania. And then what he gets out of that, what the Ian's thing is, he goes, and this is why I think maybe, he's got such a, these people hate him so much, and why Trump has such a thing against these people, because he probably had Melania in his ear telling him how bad these things were. Yeah. And but how do you take these 3 things? Like, any one of those by themselves, it's like, I can be like, I mean, like, I'll give you some level of like, okay, give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe you're just kind of borderline retarded, and like, I don't know, you're really just hopped up on that copium. But like that many things, you're like, I don't know, maybe look, this dude is a fed dude.
No disrespect towards him, but I usually skip his videos. And just not a fan. There's no reason. I just don't like. Maybe I don't know if it's
I love how you delivered that like you had some point, but you're just like, I don't ever listen to him. Just got like, fuck him.
Oh my god, dude.
No substantive point
maybe
behind it. Just I don't listen to
Like
his
I
voice.
was always under the impression because there's like a connection between Trump marrying Ivana, who's a friend of Ghislaine already. So that was already kind of a pre-established dynamic that existed before Melania. And then he meets. Basically, he of course attends Epstein's wedding, but he also meets a woman by the name Marla, right, at Wexner's chalet, and Trump tries to get Epstein, as far as a Epstein girl, Petrella, apparently.
Real quick, Austin. Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't mean to throw you off, and I know your audience gets real mad when I do. But I just remembered a connection. Didn't Jim Jones, one of his hoes, was dating or married or something to some individual in the Guyana government, I want to say, or something. I vaguely recall when we covered the Jonestown, there was almost some sort of like sex kitten sort of dynamic, something very similar to the. Very similar to what I was kind of implying with Epstein there, like setting people up with girlfriends or wives or whatever. You're like, oh, look how this worked out for me, you know?
Exactly, man. Yeah. Members of the People's Temple. He had his own. Essentially, he was pimping out these. I forget. He had a name for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shit. I'll pull up the notes.
But yeah, he had them like literally were like with dignitaries and stuff of Guyana. They were like banging them essentially, like dating them, like full on like girlfriends. I want to say, well, there was a fiance. I want to say I recall there being some sort of fiance of some big wig of some sort of his.
Yeah, no, actually, even the wife of the leader of Guyana at the time, she had gone to the location of the People's Temple agricultural project after the mass deaths had occurred. She was on site, as well as then the prime minister or president, I can't remember which one, came to the site later as well and met them there, which I found very interesting because they had financial assets entirely involved at the agricultural project, which I didn't realize how much they were actually effectively utilizing this black site, not only international intelligence apparatus, but we're talking the active government of Guyana at the time, which were effectively installed by the CIA anyway. So of course they would be, leveraging and exploiting this black site to their advantage and benefit in many ways. But yeah, no, he definitely was compromising it. I wouldn't say compromising, but I mean, he was providing prostitutes from the People's Temple to government officials in Guyana. So whether blackmail was involved or not, it's kind of goes without being said, but
I just felt like it was worth mentioning, the parallel here between that and like kind of the Epstein situation.
Absolutely.
Just kind of how this seems to be part of the methodology of kind of slinging out bitches.
Absolutely, man. Did you notice in the Ian Carroll interview, though, there was one point that I thought was very interesting that he had made, which was oh yeah, and by the way, the Roy Cohn shit, it really upset me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I was at least happy that the Wexner's inner demon was mentioned because that was fucking cool. They pulled up that article. It is really interesting. I went through it later, and it's
Another side thing, real quick. I've read because I know not to keep getting sidetracked, but I've read Whitney Webb's book twice.
Mm-hmm.
Not twice. I'm retarded. What I said that wrong. I was thinking and trying to talk at the same time. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that we had there's it's broken into two parts. Essentially, it's like two volumes. There's and they're both pretty damn long. I've listened to both of them, or read both of them, and so just one time. So like I don't have like a deep knowledge of it. Supposedly on the podcast, Ian said he's listened to it 3 times, and you can tell from a lot of stuff he talks about, a lot of stuff reflects in that, and a lot of people give him shit that he doesn't kind of follow her all the way through her train of thought when it comes to the modern day stuff, when it comes to Elon, Ellison, Teal, et cetera. But do you recall, if I recall correctly, her book, it does kind of end that way. That's not like just something about her social media presence. That's like part of the book. That's like probably the last maybe quarter of the book, where it kind of shows how it transitions from one network into another, from the old modus operandi to the more futuristic version we're going to be seeing. Like,
I think really her
right?
vision
Like that
was
is how the book ends, right? I'm not recollecting
No,
it incorrectly,
for
because I'm
sure,
like, so
but
he's had to have read this 3 times, and I'm supposed to believe that he's just really. I know people have given him shit that doesn't focus as much on those entities, and it's like, he kind of doesn't. He does seems to be awfully trusting a lot of the acolytes of those groups, and you're like, how are you that trusting of this group, knowing these things? I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm like, I'm kind of like, huh. It's hard to believe that, like, you've read all that and you really. I mean, he does go on and on about how he is kind of a newer guy, so maybe he's just not as jaded as we are. I don't know, because maybe he just came in off the jump and then devoured a lot of this, like, kind of essential reading, and so it's just kind of coming in with like a good sense of devouring content, but isn't as jaded as us yet. That's the only really thing I can kind of really wrap my head around, because you're just kind of like maybe still holding on to, like, no, they can't all be lizard people trading children for. There's got to be some white hats in there, like I don't know.
It's some sort of naivete that I definitely put it in those exact terms. Almost, Jose, was exactly the way that you just kind of described it. Was the only plausible explanation, other than you're potentially some sort of disinformation operative, which let's hope that that's not the case. It's just the only way that you could come to such a conclusion in my mind is you're naive and you're vulnerable in that way, because you are new to this area of interest. You've yet to fully expose yourself to the level of depth that this truly goes, but to then trace, you can chart a course to modern day. That's what I don't understand. The book effectively puts into her vision was, in my mind, really that this network never ended. Epstein was a minor part of it, right? And so here are all the other connecting pieces that we should, further investigate going forward, and be extremely skeptical of their involvement near any sort of, levers of power of any kind, right? I mean, I don't know, like that's what it seems to me. It's like, here's all the data points, take it and run with it, because something should be done. I mean, this is the unlimited hangout, right? Which is just perfect. I mean, as far as one nation under blackmail, absolutely, man. I mean, I read through as far as Roy Cohn's connections, man. I didn't understand that when he's dying of fucking HIV, all right, when he's dying of AIDS, fucking Nancy Reagan had his personal contact number, was setting up, like, they set up the HIV charity sponsorship to try and get him near his end of life, while he's terminally ill. They're trying to get him the state-of-the-art medical treatment. Like, it's kind of extraordinary. But it goes to show how compromised Reagan was. People act like he was some sort of like beacon of hope at the time. The motherfucker was what they called an opportunist, man. You look into what was alleged about the compromised asset that Ronald Reagan potentially was. There's a documentary filmmaker. His name was Sean Swords. I don't know.
Oh, Reagan? Yeah. I've gone down that rabbit hole where he was like basically controlled by a film industry.
Yeah. Ronald Reagan, opportunist, whole career guided by MCA. Yep. Wasserman ran MCA as the founder.
Which is like the what we think of when we think of kids, when we think of movies, when we think of like I forget crazy, even what the symbol is, but MCA, you would probably, like, we see you like, oh shit, that's it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and Jules Stein, who bragged that Reagan was malleable, that they could do what they wanted with him. That thing about Reagan being tough on organized crime, that's a fallacy. That's what the fuck they say, man.
Yeah, they were tied into organized crime too, so it was like a controlled, like, oh, we'll just make him say he's gonna be super hard in it, but he's not really going to be. Like, who cares?
It's amazing.
We do have Doc Tory says, if you're deep in the tech world like I am, crypto, Whitney makes judgments about people made based on dubious connections at times.
Cashless society is dystopian as shit, man. Like, I'm sorry, like, crypto is compromised. That is a dystopian vision. there's what there's you have honestly, like, as far as I understand, like, really, like, I had what's that the pirate crypto, trying to remember the fucking name of it. I
I
still
have
own
no
some,
idea. I
obviously,
barely understand
but
computers, let alone crypto.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, the way that it's being rolled out, it's an entirely compromised industry is then the whole point, right? And so
Mhm.
if you believe that the future, like, that there is optimism and hope within potentially separating yourself from the government control of financial, like, look, man, financial assets. What do you think is going to happen? They're already printing money out of thin air. Quantitative easing didn't just, this isn't some recent phenomena, and so what happens when you make it a digital dollar and you just input a number into a computer and you erode the purchasing power, and it's just consistently moves us more in the same direction, on the very same path toward the totalitarian technocratic state. So you know I just can't imagine that the digital dollar is anything but a dystopian vision and a part of the agenda. Uh, you know, so that's my point, and especially when you look at how they kind of launder money through these assets. You look at SBF, man. I mean, what was a Sam Bankman-Fried's vision there? It's like he
Just
was a
getting
cutout.
golf pussy. That's about it,
Yeah,
right?
but he was also a cutout. His parents are completely tied in with the deep state and intelligence, and in the intelligence apparatus. He was a made man. He's gonna get off. I'm sure they'll pardon him at some point. He's going on Tucker Carlson talking about how great Diddy is when he fucks him in his cell or something. It's just the craziest thing of all time that people consistently embrace the dystopian vision. That's the only issue. Everyone loves X. Twitter's so great now. Okay. It's the dystopian model for WeChat. That is coming down the pike. It's an inevitable unfortunately, it's an inevitability, it seems, at this point. And so, yeah, I'm not trying to preach to the choir. Yeah, I'm very skeptical, right? And so, yeah, I know SBF wasn't a crypto developer. He basically doesn't know anything. He was just an asset that was entirely compromised. And so, yeah, that's my point, right? But
Yeah.
these rug pulls, they're by design, right? And so you can make money on the crypto market, right? You can play these shit coins all day long. But yeah, Monero, that's the crypto that I actually still own some. But even then, when you're supposedly right, the entire vision behind Monero, it's a beautiful idea. But yeah, I just think that once you realize that you can't access your crypto without internet access, then good fucking luck, man. That's all I'm saying. Because once we have the social credit system involved with our social media platforms and entirely tied in with our financial banking systems, and this is the everything app that is the totalitarian vision, then once that occurs, then explain to me how you weren't wrong. That's my only point there, right? So anyway, I'm not saying that it's not some sort of viable alternative for the future in certain ways, but in my mind, it is a key component within the dystopian totalitarian technocracy.
I'm sure it'll play a part. I don't know. I guess time will tell. I'm not really nerdy enough to really know, but yeah, I definitely think we're moving towards crypto. I think there's going to be good crypto, bad crypto. They're definitely going to try to move towards the bad. But let's go ahead and play this weekly dump video. This is the past week. Me and Austin, for those who want to pop into the the daily show game. Me and Austin just about every day, on my YouTube and his YouTube, and our Rumbles as well. We put them out about 10 a.m. Eastern every day. It also goes out live on X. on both of ours. We usually do pretty much every day. Some days we don't, but for the most part, I'd say 5 to 7 days a week we do the morning dump. We didn't today. We didn't yet the day before yesterday, or didn't yesterday either. But Austin did a interview, so it kind of made up for it. So, but either way, point being is we normally do like a daily show, so pop in for that. This is kind of a super cut of that. So, but 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll be in tomorrow for sure. But let's go ahead and play this. So.
Yeah. Don't ask me about my evening with a great artist and a convicted pedophile.
Subtext here. We're going to put these people in jail, not for 24 hours, but for years, which is not a great thing to say. He posted on his X page about having a pretty huge dick in response to a post about asking if anyone on the platform had a PhD. That was just a funny joke.
People always do.
I'll be honest, so far it's pretty fucking boomerish to me. I mean, yeah. Everything just keeps on coming back to the lone wolf gun store every fucking time. Hey, you. Israel feels entitled to make all the demands and give nothing in return. And if they don't, then everyone dies. That's there's no diplomacy. There's no backup.
First of all, the amount of damage to the building is not something that you would get from a fertilizer bomb. And
yeah, that's I mean, like, there's a lot of debate on that.
Blown out.
Exactly.
And the FBI was retrieving unblown bombs from the building.
Yep, he's correct on that one.
And I believe I can.
It's just weird. I mean, I had this happen like 6 months ago too. With see, look at that thing. Isn't that so weird looking? See here. Can you guys see that? Wikipedia of 2021. Weinstein is the managing director for Teal Capital, a venture capital firm. I don't have much to say about this. It's just wild. A Doge effort to sell off federal properties inadvertently exposes CIA black site in Northern Virginia.
Another one, and another one. Why you
Did any of that follow for you?
No.
But
ridiculous justification of like the NAMBLA crowd or some shit. Honestly, man, what they tend to do, what they were doing with, I believe Diddy and Epstein as well, because the whole point being is that they could essentially, leverage their silence in regard to the co-conspirators by the.
I may be. I mean, I'm not the only Republican who hasn't taken the AIPAC trip to Israel, but I'm probably one of a dozen that hasn't taken that trip, and the other ones just haven't gotten.
Fucking Ben Shapiro, man.
He's your Roy Cohn. That pervert. You can see it.
Look at him, dude.
Yeah, AIDS?
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, he is AIDS,
a sexual maniac, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Monero that they brought up, by the way, I just wanted to mention the term was, of course, it is like the coolest vision in crypto, and then we can discuss what Roy Cohn and a couple other things involved with the Ian Carroll scenario as well. But I do like the vision of Monero as a cryptocurrency, decentralized digital currency that keeps your finances confidential and secure. Basically it obfuscates transactions and provides anonymity and fungibility as a token, right? But still, when you understand stable coins and like the kind of dystopian vision involved with the rebrand happening, which has been being discussed in the chat, as far as CBDCs and the central bank digital currency, and it is a part of the totalitarian vision. So that is my ultimate concern in regard to that. But as far as Ian Carroll, I thought it was interesting that he mentioned Roy Cohn. He at least mentioned the Plaza Hotel and the sort of J. Edgar Hoover sexual blackmail being compromised, and the fact that Trump purchased Adnan Khashoggi's yacht, which was completely rigged.
Oh
with
shit! I didn't even think about the
blackmail.
fact he brought that up too.
He
Because I
brought
remember
that
that
up,
thing
yeah.
in the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's a fucking big deal. And then they go into about how like Adnan Khashoggi, whatever the fuck, how he was into fucking like blackmail and guns. I swear they brought that up, and I'm like, how the fuck do you know? And they go, haha, yeah, he has his yacht. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you?
Yeah.
How do you know?
It's
That's
nuts,
another
man.
thing. I didn't even think about that one.
Yeah, and remember the article I pulled up with Robert Maxwell and Trump, where they're measuring each other's yachts on at a party held by Robert Maxwell at his yacht, where he's forcing everybody to take their shoes off before they.
And one of those was the Khashoggi yacht then too. So it was his. That was the one he's referring to was likely the former Khashoggi
same
one.
network, dude.
The same
blackmail
yacht
network.
that was almost certainly outfitted because he was known for taking
Audiovisual
people out on these like almost pink ballet type things out in the ocean, out in the middle of the ocean on his yacht, and you're like, and it was known to be outfitted. It, wasn't it? Believe they said there were statements, but it was like a James Bond type.
Yes.
But so like there's heavy implications. There probably was recording equipment of some sort in there. So it's like, what the fuck? And now Trump's the one getting that, and that's another data point. You're like, yeah, isn't that kind of crazy?
Right.
What?
And just mention it in passing, but I did find it interesting that it was
See, because he's trying to
It was
blackmail the
Rogan that
blackmailer so they can't blackmail him or others.
Right. But I found it interesting in the moment. It was Rogan who basically redirected Ian Carroll's focus at the time to, well, hold up, let's go back to the Epstein connections, right?
Yeah.
And let's not talk about how Trump purchased the Plaza Hotel, which is directly tied into the sexual blackmail operation with J. Edgar Hoover and Roy Cohn, and let's not discuss
Back
Trump
to Khashoggi. No, just kidding.
this weapon smuggling. Yeah, this weapon smuggler's yacht rigged with audiovisual blackmail, who's pictured with Ghislaine and Paris Hilton on his arm. Like, it's so fucking nuts that Ghislaine, like, essentially, she targeted Paris Hilton as a sort of a sex kitten for Adnan Khashoggi for a time. So that's why Adnan has Paris Hilton on his arm, because it's sort of a reward.
And Adnan is, for those who aren't aware, I believe is the uncle of the Khashoggi that caught up in Jamal, that got chopped up in little bitty pieces in the Saudi Arabia consulate.
Yes. It's so crazy.
That's
right.
wild.
Yeah.
But all of that shit is happening when Trump's taking office. The Vegas shooting just occurred, right? And which, by the way, perfect segue into Diddy Co-Conspirators, right? I mean, what the hell is going on? We have the police chief of what was it, Maui, I believe. It was like
the Maui police
Maui
chief.
police chief,
Yeah.
Don Pelletier, who gave the order he's the one who allegedly gave the order to trap victims in the Lahaina fire. And he was also the incident commander during the Las Vegas shooting, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's him and the fire chief that are brought up frequently. Him and the fire chief, I think, got busted for pedophilia or some shit recently. And I believe it was, I want to say it was the Maui fire chief.
Paddock's brother.
Yeah.
It's the fucking same thing, right? So, I mean, it's very interesting to me that anyone involved in that cover up, you're seeing people, right? Like, just as far as it seems like collateral damage through the facilitation of the cover up. I mean, what else could it be? I don't know, but when you realize, dude, and we mentioned the other day, I don't remember if it was me and you on the morning dump or what, but just as far as what's happening in Myrtle Beach and the fires that happened in Hawaii and Maui, and then the fires that occurred in Los Angeles, which we know Karen Bass knew. She had prior knowledge. What the fuck is that?
Have you looked into her background?
Oh,
how
dude.
She was like from a Cuban fucking freedom movement or revolutionary movement or some shit. Which
It
is
sounds
like
some
they
CIA created.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what it sounds like, because she was going to Cuba every 6 months for like a very extended period of time, like years.
It
going
sounds
up
like
there every 6 months and coming back and being like I don't know, this like political organizer type, and you're like, dude, you glow, bitch.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds like the Fair Play for Cuba committee or some shit,
Yeah,
right? Like
like,
some
what the
Oswaldian cutout. That's really what it does seem like.
No fucking way. Adnan Khashoggi was related to Dadi Fayed, the dude that was in the that was with Princess Diana in the kayak.
No fucking way, man. All right, I'm writing that down immediately.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
do
pretty
a
wild.
Princess Diana
That is
episode
crazy.
one day. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because that 100%.
And Adnan's the uncle, right? And then there's Jamal Khashoggi, I think the ones that got chopped up, who's the journalist. Journalist. But like, let's be real, he probably was doing some he was kind of I don't know.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, Dadi Fayed. Like, remember that one? That one's wild. All right.
Yeah, because you know that they brought in Jimmy Savile to like attempt to kind of
Fuck 'em after they
apparently
died.
well, he was brought in to intervene because Princess Di was having relationship problems at the time, and so Jimmy Savile of all people was the one who was brought in to help smooth things over with Princess Di before her death, which I found very interesting.
He probably got it on with her after her death.
Exactly.
That's
well,
like,
we can't account for the moments he spent with his dead
wasn't
mother's
it, wasn't
body.
his mom? Yeah, that was what it was. His
Yeah.
dead's mom. Like, he had his dead
He's a
mom's body. It was-
necrophiliac. Basically
Ugh.
had sex with his mom's dead corpse, which is
It's
totally
like
insane.
Oedipus complex to like a whole other level, dude.
100%. And then he's buried at like a 90-degree angle, and like he's some sort of fucking vampire. They gave him some sort of they thought he was a he thought he was a wizard, man. He was trying to like cast spells all the time. The guy was out of his
His
fucking
hair was
mind.
dyed bleach white, wasn't it? It wasn't like that. Wasn't his color? Like, his normal color was like brown or black or some shit.
It
Like,
reminds me of the platinum blonde cult that Julian Assange grew up in. Right? Like, it really does. But
yeah,
I'll have to do a deep dive on Savile because I was just reading about his connections to the Spartacus Network. Holy shit.
dude, it's
I
a
had
Night
no
of Malta
idea.
too. Yeah, Night of Malta.
I had no idea what was going on there.
Isn't he
But
Opus Dei
again,
as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as like what we know with his involvement with King Cora and how he was looting these children's care homes and just kind of like children who were entirely vulnerable with no one to look after their well-being, no one to follow up on their whereabouts. He was exploiting that, and he had basically free reign over certain care facilities where the individual authorities were compromised. And I remember a story about him going into this female girls' care home, right? Just girl orphans, man. And they described remembering his scent, how he had this fucking cigar he would never light he would just sit in his fucking mouth, and that they would hear his jangling keys when he would come down the hall before he raped them. I'm not fucking with you, man. It's one of the darkest things.
That's fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy Savile, he used to live in a traveling van outside these care homes, man. He would station himself outside the care homes, come in after hours, and then he would abuse the girls. That was really happening. And then he would go into hospitals, different medical facilities where he was giving all this huge amounts of financial, essentially he was bribing these massive organizations. Then he would go in and he would isolate some sickly young girl, young child, and he would just sexually abuse them, shove his hands down their pants, and it was the craziest thing you could ever.
We'll fix it.
On that nice note,
Yeah, man.
The phone lines are open at 941-281-5857. I also do want to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by Nadeau Shave Co. Let me just kind of run through the ringer on this thing. This is a superior product to the typical shaver in all ways. It is better for your skin. It gives you a better shave. It's cheaper. It's from a company that doesn't hate your guts. It's a COVID mandate refusing company. This company was born refusing the COVID mandate. This knocks you out about $75 for the whole year. But if you compare that to how many times you're going to be getting those multi-big cartridges, you come out on top big time here. But with that, yeah, use also on top of all of that, you can get 10% off if you use Jose at checkout. But yeah, call in, guys, 941-281-5857. Keep in mind, if you do use the call feature, you can talk to me, I can talk to you, they can hear you. It doesn't go the other way. So just kind of get your question out and leave. Or if you do kind of want to hang out, be more of a hang and not just kind of give a question and bounce, you can pop in for the video call and with me and Austin at our Patreon at the lowest level. You can get the StreamYard link on both of our patrons and Patreons, and you can every episode you can pop in here and you can kind of be like Jules is right now, talking head, kind of be shooting the bull with us. So yeah, that's a perk you get out of our Patreon. So yeah, call in, hang out, whatever. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep hanging out until the meantime, and yeah. Don't make me waste the number. Yeah, I pay for this number. Just hang on, pay for this number. But yeah. So anyone wants to call in, now will be your time. If you have any questions, anything. But with that, let's get back into it. Where were we at? Did I cut you off? We were talking about child rape, as we always tend to do. But we were talking about the Diddy, the Maui police chief.
Yeah.
I guess he came up somehow in all of this.
Check this out. So this Maui, what I think is most interesting about this story is that, again, this is allegations put forward. They've been entirely denied, as they typically are. But this John Pelletier, he's named by one named victim, I believe, and two unnamed and anonymous individuals as an accused co-conspirator in the Diddy network, right? And so this Pelletier is accused of being involved in a cover-up for a gang rape when he was working as a Las Vegas police captain. So this accuser alleges that Pelletier posed as a California sheriff's deputy and responded to an alleged gang rape that happened at a Diddy party in order to cover it up. So Pelletier is accused of telling the victim to go home and allegedly gave no medical help. She claims Pelletier later took her and another plaintiff at gunpoint to his home, restrained them physically, refused to let them call an attorney, and made various moves to cover up the kidnapping. And this is all from the Hawaii News Now network, which reported all of this. Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson has requested that Pelletier would be on administrative leave during the investigation, as he strongly denies the claims, calling them completely false.
Huh.
What do you think?
I think that's pretty wild. I mean, how many deep events can you fucking be involved in? I mean, I guess, right? I mean, this is the flaw in these things, is they do tend to use the same people over and over again. So, I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But yeah, geez. I mean, I don't really have much to add to this, but yeah, that's nuts.
Dude, watch this real quick. Hold on.
Hey, is this the same guy from the Uvalde shooting?
Oh, shit. You should, dude, hold on. Look up his name right now, Jules. John Pelletier. I'll spell it for you. Are you ready? Tell me when you're ready.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's linked to something else. Yeah, spell it.
John Pelletier.
Or maybe making another connection. I don't know. But
hey, man, it's worth looking up. So listen.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Let's see.
Looks like Kim Iverson.
It's Maui County Police Chief John Pelletier.
This is obviously Hawaii News Now. So yeah, it's
a lawsuit claims that he was a dirty cop while working for rapper Sean Diddy Combs 7 years ago. Pelletier is.
Dude, this fits so well with the Tupac and Biggie murders, as far as just how they kind of leverage and exploit local law enforcement with providing and infiltrating these intelligence assets within the investigative teams or whatever it is. I mean, they're clearly, it goes all the way back. I mean, far beyond even Patty Hearst, right? Those connections with the Patty Hearst and the SLA network, where you had local LAPD officials who had been, who were obviously intelligence assets who had infiltrated the local law enforcement. And that's what I think happens more often than people are aware of. And so, again, this is how the cover-up takes place. But it's interesting to me, at the very least, that this ties perfectly in with how the Tupac and Biggie murders were essentially committed by hitmen who were kind of fronting as LAPD officers for the Biggie murder, right? Isn't that what happened essentially? Is that they claimed they were LAPD officers, but really they were actually organized crime assets and intelligence assets as well.
Is denying all of the allegations. But Maui's mayor is asking the police commission to put him on leave until this case is resolved. Our Eddie Dowd has the story.
In the nearly 90-page civil lawsuit filed by Ashley Parham and two unnamed people, Maui Police Chief John Pelletier is accused of being hired security for Sean Diddy Combs in 2018. It claims Pelletier, who was a Las Vegas police captain, posed as a sheriff deputy in California to respond to an alleged gang rape involving Combs. The alleged victim claims Pelletier told her to go home but offered no help or medical care. The woman claims Pelletier gave her an envelope to a neighbor which she believed to be full of cash. She claims Pelletier later took her and another plaintiff at gunpoint to his home, restrained them, and refused to let them call an attorney and made various moves to cover up the kidnapping. The Maui Police Department said in a statement, Chief Pelletier has no connections to anyone in the lawsuit. The allegations are unfounded and false, and the plaintiffs are spreading misleading narratives. But Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson has requested that the Maui County Police Commission puts the chief on administrative leave during the investigation, saying, "This approach does not constitute a presumption of guilt, but ensures that the individual in question is not in a position that may compromise the integrity of the office while the matter is under review." Retired HPD Deputy Chief John McCarthy believes it's too early to suspend Pelletier.
It's outside the jurisdiction of the Maui County officials, so it would be a difficult thing because of location for one to look at. It just, a lot of it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. You know, people like to drag people with a name through something like this. They're making allegations that need to be proven in a court.
The Maui Police Commission will now have to vote on whether to place Pelletier on leave. The next meeting has not been announced. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
Homeboy looks upset.
So what was just to back up, what was the specific? It just say a suit or say anything specific? Because there's been a bunch of suits that come out, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of bullshit that's been then thrown out there too, with a lot of good shit as well. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I think they did a lot of crap, but I think with as many suits are probably coming to the fore, we're probably going to see a lot of these type of stories here and there, and I think a lot of them are probably going to be bullshit. Not saying this one is or isn't. I don't know. So
well, it was just kind of reported that prosecutors were going to reveal certain co-conspirators in the Diddy network. And so that the fact that that's been reported for the past at least couple months makes sense that this would come out. It's a new case, though, it's as far as the allegations are concerned. So this one, again, is one named victim and two anonymous sources who are allegedly corroborating this, but hope to remain unnamed, I believe. But anyway, it's still what I find to be exactly how the playbook kind of functions in my mind, as far as, like, of course you have these local law enforcement officials compromised, but still, yeah, I'm sure we're going to have many more as far as like new cases alleging certain co-conspirators by name, but the fact that you actually have this individual who is clearly so compromised, right? Who's being named as a co-conspirator in court documents in regard to the Diddy case. And you know how the wheels of justice turn, right? Yeah, they grind very slow. And so it's
sometimes not at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if we get any sort of information that proves to be valuable and worthwhile, naming anyone that can at least provide a window into how these networks are in my mind, not only facilitated, but also, yeah, entirely hidden and covered up. And as far as the public, just the public's ability to interpret the true power paradigm and the true perpetrators, that's always hidden. It's below the surface. You have to do your own research or you're never going to get there. And it's something that I'm realizing is, man, the way of the world, man. It's like in every single one of these cases, it takes discipline and effort. And if you have those two things with some sort of like, psychological, philosophical perspective of objectivity and honesty in your approach, where you're genuinely pursuing the truth, man, this is how it always happens. Right? We get the information, it comes to light, it's reported. It's just, we haven't had the advantage of living through these moments as often as, again, I'm 33 years old, man, same as you, right? So it's like, yeah, it's like
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh shit,
right?
dude, we're both 33.
Yeah,
Fuck,
you're the
dude.
Illuminati.
I'll be 33 in July. So
Oh shit, dude. Fuck, man. I'll no longer be 33 in July, so
Well,
we'll be good. We can't
You'll
all be
sync up.
33 at the same time. That would have been bad. So
Right. But it is at the very least, man. Like, I know I mentioned Illuminati confirmed. My bad. 33, devil's number.
Yeah.
Look, it's a coincidence, all right? But I will say it fits perfectly for the year of the schizo, to perfectly align with our 33rd year of existence, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense, honestly. And
am I saying
so-
I'm Jesus? No, but
No.
just saying there's a parallel.
You mother. No, but
Yeah.
I do think that's worthwhile in mentioning, and that these, Odell Beckham Jr. apparently was mentioned in this case as well, which I find very interesting. And thank you, Doctory420, for sending that link. I thought it was hilarious. It tipped me off to this, and then I went and kind of jumped down the rabbit hole as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's very interesting to say that a potential co-conspirator of involved in this Diddy case is what we already know. He has direct connections to the Vegas shooting, an incident commander. I mean, that alone is shit, man. I mean, it's hard to say, like, how many psyops can you be a part of before you start to question and grow skeptical of someone being compromised. I mean, you look at, let's say, a pivot to foreign policy in a way, how the Ukrainian, just as far as Ukraine itself, it's been like a central hub of child trafficking since this major proxy force has been, kind of leveraged for the West's benefit. And how is that an accident? It's like the same thing we can point to whenever we see the heroin trafficking, raised to 94%, right, out of Afghanistan, when we have the U.S. infantry protecting and defending the poppy fields in Afghanistan. It's like once that occurs, you recognize the playbook. You see the pattern recognition. It's hard to deny. And so why else would you think that Ukraine would be exploited as one of the central hubs of child trafficking during this unfortunate, just proxy conflict that was entirely manufactured by the state, which is by our taxpayer dollars, man. So what happens if this sadistic and sinister, what really effectively amounts to this clandestine intelligence apparatus that's set up that we would like to refer to as the deep state, that seems to put their own compromised assets into powerful positions all over the world stage, no matter where the fuck that is, I mean, are we seriously going to continue to buy these false narratives? And it's like, I don't know. We have to become a little bit more aware of the psyops.
Yeah.
Right. Because
I think it's time, and this kind of ties into, I guess, one of the next topics we want to get into and I almost kind of naturally went into it earlier when we were kind of talking about Trump. I think it's time for the whole rose-colored glasses, period to move on. And I sort of get it. I sort of somewhat understand where people are coming from, where they're like, oh my God, we're getting these Doge cuts, and isn't it cool that, woke is bad, or X, Y, and you're like, cool, we're getting scraps, woo! And you're like, I get it. We've never really gotten scraps before. You're like, holy fucking shit, we're getting fucking scraps. No fucking way. But meanwhile, while you're getting scraps, they're still taking heaps from you. And like, yeah, sure, you can sit here and do this whole like bend over backwards mentality. And you're like, well, like, I don't know, if the other guy came in and he would have been like super duper bad, and like he would have done that plus other bad stuff. So like, and you're like, maybe. But at some point it's like, dude, you're getting scraps and you're getting fucked, and and everyone's going on and on about how great. Oh, look at the Doge cuts. Look at this. Like, oh, fucking Trump's doing this. Trump's doing that. Oh, Trump's he's picked fucking. Ooh, we got RFK. Ooh, we got Mr. Pajit, fucking super serious FBI guy, gonna shut down the FBI. Ooh, we got Bongino, and it's like. At some point it's like, dude, you guys are getting fed not even very good lube. And it's just lube for you to fucked with. You're like, oh my God, not even $100 billion worth of savings from Doge. And then you're like, oh, well over $100 billion in more spending than what we were previously doing. And you're like, okay, cool. You just blew out all of those Doge savings. And you're like, ooh, we're getting the Epstein files. And you're like, just kidding. We're really, really, really pushing, fucking anti-Semitism. That's super duper bad. And like to a ridiculous degree to where it's like borderline like breaking the First Amendment, if not flagrantly just breaking the First Amendment at this point. Yep. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, and I'm sorry, I find it extremely offensive that we're not getting this Epstein bullshit at the same time we're getting this super hard push for anti-Semitism. I like pushing against it. Like I struggle to believe that that's a coincidence.
No shit.
Like fuck you, dude. Like right when you're making you
don't believe in coincidences.
Right when you shake up the nest enough and the most to piss them off, then you are like, and just kidding, we're also gonna like, you hate Jews, ha, we're gonna get you in trouble for that. And you're like, that'll totally make you like Jews, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man.
Why not?
Like you mentioned, so. Just as far as like the child trafficking in Ukraine, something I didn't understand is that Marina Abramovich, is apparently Ukraine's ambassador for children.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? All right, so,
it's super fitting.
This is what I'm saying, man. So first of all, actually, let me take a piss. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
All right, well, then
when we talk about, hold on though, because when I come back, we have to address what I just said about Marina Abramovich being the Ukraine's ambassador for children.
Well, we're talking about Lamashtu, the demon goddess. Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Right?
I'll be right back.
I don't know what the fuck how that entered into the things to talk about this week, but I'll just go ahead and let you hard segue, Jules. Why the fuck did Austin put on the list of things to cover this week Lamashtu, the demon goddess? And what world does that play into the parapolitical game that we so often talk about?
Well, you could say it's revelation of the method, maybe. Or maybe them just doing just like a mock ritual.
So you have no idea why Austin?
No, I know exactly.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know why he put it in there. Oh, okay.
I was gonna wait for him to play the video.
Is this SNL thing you're talking about?
Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and play it. He's already watched it, and so we can just kind of cold start playing it, and that way, like whenever he's already watched it, so he'll easily be able to, when he jumps in, it's wherever. So that kind of works out perfectly. And so this ties into the Lamashtu thing. Cool, we can get 2 birds stoned. So, anyways, also that whole little rant was just to let you guys know that Trump went DEFCON 5 on Massey because Massey doesn't want to vote on his spending bill, which I believe is just literally re-upping on Biden's shitty fucking budget the year before, so not a good thing. But no fucking Massey's the bad guy because of it. So just saying, more of the same. Just kind of proving that's kind of where that rant came from. So it's like, hey, all this so that they can so they can, you know, continue to spend as bad as they did the year prior, and actually not even as bad because it's not even including like things like the military budget that already got an additional $100 billion. So,
Right.
yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and play
My
this.
God, man.
Yeah, we're playing this video now. I
Oh
guess.
hell yeah! Oh wait! Before you play it, pause. Because
we're
my
totally
main
gonna get fucking. Anyway.
What's up?
I was gonna say we're gonna get copyright for this one.
Oh,
Probably,
100%.
yeah.
But we always fucking do. So it's whatever. But what I think is interesting is that you have these, like the occult ideology is sort of everything that falls within this sort of mindset when it comes to the philosophical framework here. You understand that the blood moon is on the 14th, right? This was something I was unaware of until I witnessed this satanic blood ritual take place on Saturday Night Live, which I don't watch, but of course it crossed my radar because of Lady Gaga, you know, and also my affiliation with sort of just the research involved in the Pizzagate case. It has to cross your radar. And the blood moon, of course, has various occult significances, often associated with transformation, introspection, and the exploration of hidden emotions. It is seen as a time to confront darker aspects of oneself and to initiate personal growth and change. Now, how does that not fall perfectly within the Luciferian framework? You know, you look at William and I were just talking about, I forget the name of the production company in Hollywood, but it basically every single time that you watch a film that's produced by this company, you engage in a satanic Luciferian ritual, and it's occult in nature and it's ancient.
Is it A24?
I don't think so. It's one other one that has like a long road and a lightning strike a tree that's a lone tree, and it's essentially the tree of knowledge, and it's like it's this occult symbology, and it's very strange, but it's super interesting, and it falls perfectly in line with the philosophy, the philosophical framework in general. And so you have that you have to consider, and then you you combine that with this blood ritual that effectively takes place on Saturday Night Live, prime slot, right, where it very much seems as if you have a summoning of a demonic entity, a demon goddess deity from ancient Mesopotamia, and this is Lamashtu, the demonic goddess, right? Who apparently, if you look into this at all, at any level, you realize that Lamashtu is a female demon from Mesopotamia.
Can we play this and maybe put on like 2 speed?
I'm trying to say, brother, so people understand who.
I was gonna say put it on. I'm not trying to be a dick. I was just saying maybe put it on mute and put it on like 2 times so we can kind of watch it and have it as we're talking about it. It's 2.5 minutes long.
Anyway.
So.
I mean, it's not too bad, but it's annoying as hell anyway, because really they just seem to have like gay dudes with like some Asian gay guy who's at least playing an Asian gay guy, and they're all just kind of like casually acting as if this is a normal thing and normalizing the ritual. It's very strange, as this woman and her heart is legitimately stripped from her body in this blood ritual. It's fucking insane. But you can play it, dude.
You must pay the ultimate price. Sin, 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 sin.
Creepier on 2 times too.
Fucking weird, dude.
Behold the summoner. Behold Lamashtu.
Okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
All right.
Great, now they've summoned Lamashtu. Now drink of the blood of Lamashtu.
That's Lady Gaga.
Drink the blood, Jenny. It's free. Relax. Drink.
Okay.
Now you are rebaptized by the Mother of Beasts.
And that's Gaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Gaga, who's right there, yeah. On the red robe.
Okay.
Demon dog, dude. The Demigu, or it has some name to it.
Look at that shit, man.
It's not even funny, really. I mean, I guess we're watching
It's not
2X.
funny at all, dude. It's
Yeah.
not
The
funny at
demo.
all.
That's what it's called.
Lamashtu didn't awaken anyone. The blood of Lamashtu awakens Molaram.
How hilarious.
Birthday girl, come with Molaram.
You guys, you can't just let Molaram lead me away.
Okay, it's friendly, Jenny. He's being friendly.
Bring me the cage of false birthdays. Oh, Namashive. Oh, Namashive. Oh, Namashive. You have betrayed friendly. You have betrayed Lamashtu. You have betrayed Kalima.
You guys,
All right, yeah, this is bizarre.
but I kind of want to see where
Not
this
funny
goes.
at all.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes it even weirder that it's
Is it
like
longer?
a Gaga episode.
Yeah, that was just a. It seemed like it took out really just kind of the most of the pauses. So it was just a confined version, but
yeah,
the longer version, it's very similar. But what I find interesting is the timing, right? Coming within this occult framework of the occult holiday, and that's what I think is interesting. I could point to the Ultimate Evil, the David Berkowitz 22 Disciples of Hell. Like that was what they were doing. They were 100% behaving from this ideological framework, this philosophy of occultism that perfectly involved, these ultimate sacrifices. And when you come to realize that, I had mentioned last week, at least in the promotion of last week's show, was the Gilgamesh connection. Right. And that strange connection to Hillary Clinton and the 03 invasion, as far as like in 03, allegedly the tomb of Gilgamesh was discovered in ancient Mesopotamia or Iraq, obviously. And then the invasion happens 5 months later, which is very interesting because then there's the WikiLeaks emails that prove that Hillary Clinton was very much involved in requesting certain aspects of, let's say, as far as the tomb of Gilgamesh and the ancient Nephilim are concerned, the Nephilim giants, Hillary Clinton asking for access to his resurrection and rejuvenation technology in these leaked emails and mentioning the Nephilim by name, which is extraordinary to me, right? Something
reincarnation chambers, dude. I've talked about this a lot.
Which on your since we obviously got you here, Jules. Tell us a little bit about. Does Lamashtu, is that something that comes up? Would you know who this is?
Like, I know
is
exactly.
This straight up Sumerian? Because I know you pretty much all the way back to Sumeria. Like that's kind of where you start. Like, is that all the way back there? I haven't seen them come up in Nephilim entomology or whatever, or Elohim entomology.
Elohim.
Yet.
Well, okay, you will once we get to Ereshkigal, the sister of Ishtar, basically. This is Lamashtu. You see, he has wings, has like a lion face.
Yeah,
it's like tits too, right?
He has tits. He gets them sucked on.
Tits.
Some tits that got sucked on.
Yeah. So, and that he probably has a dick too, and because they like to do the whole hybrid thing, and
it's got a dick on its head.
And symbolism that represents the duality.
I'm not even kidding. It legit looks like it's a dick on its head.
It does look like a giant dick. You're right.
Like, what is that? That's the straight up on the top. It's like he's got a fucking,
I guess it's third horn.
Yeah, it's like almost looks like someone grafted a bullet on the top of his head, like essentially.
Yeah,
like
but those wings, you see how they are, how they're shaped and whatnot.
Like
that's always from ancient Mesopotamia.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So Lamashtu is the demon goddess, basically, of disease and destruction, and would be summoned by Ereshkigal, the wife of Nergal, who is the lord of the underworld. It's referred to in the Greeks, that mythology as Hades or Anubis in Egypt. But yeah, and so it's the underworld, right? And it basically,
why are they in a pizza place, Jules?
Oh yeah, they are in a fucking pizza place.
That's what I'm saying. It's at least worth mentioning as you can continue to lay out exactly what this deity entails. It's worth mentioning that this Lady Gaga skit on SNL that is summoning an ancient demonic goddess, right? Which you look into Lamashtu, female demon from ancient Mesopotamian mythology known for threatening women during childbirth,
Yeah, known for like
stealing
infertility and stillbirths. Yeah. Also like night terrors as well and disease. Yeah, fun stuff. And so, but what I was going to point out, and I'll be talking about this on Nephilim Death Squad tomorrow, guys. I'll be going on Nephilim Death Squad at noon Central. So,
hell yeah.
She says not even Pazuzu can save you. Now, Pazuzu is another wind demon. And this has to do with Lilith too. Like it gets in, or Lilith too.
Jules, I really hate to do this to you. We can come right back, but I do have someone who called in. Maybe they'll have a question on this, but we'll come right back to the Sumerian shit. Hey, you're on Already Dead with Austin and Jose and our young Jules. What's up? How you doing?
Hey y'all, just want to say hello, and I've got a couple questions. Just actually one question for Austin. But before, I just want to say that Jules, I'm liking. Just kind of discovered your Rumble and shit. Been enjoying the esoteric occultism. Not too sure if I want to dip my full foot in there. What Jose and Austin are already talking about is already mind blowing enough. But I've been enjoying the series of Austin you got with Sam Tripoli. Just that's pretty awesome. But I just kind of want to get your opinion, Austin, because I see you have a Lakers big foam finger back there. Are you a big sports fan or a basketball fan? Because I think I like basketball, and I just want to know if what your opinion is with the Luka Doncic, Lakers, Mavericks, Miriam Adelson maybe want to move the fuck out of there.
Hey, brother,
is sports kind of rigged and all that bullshit? Just want to hear your voice on that. But anyway, get back to that Sumerian shit, Jules. Sorry to interrupt. Bye-bye.
You're good. Appreciate you calling in, bud. We'll let you go. We'll hear what Austin has to say about the old sports ball. Appreciate it. We'll see you. You have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
And don't judge me for being a fan of sports ball.
It's all good. People should enjoy things. But are you a big sports ball guy?
I'm a fan of any competitive sport of any kind, honestly. Like I think it draws out the best in you as an individual. And so I'm a huge MMA fan. I'm a huge, honestly, I love basically any competitive sport for the most part. But yeah, what I think is interesting about the Luka trade, and I brought this up privately with Sam after the last episode of whatever this is on last Friday. I thought it was hilarious. We just bullshitted for a minute about because I'm also a Raider fan, right? So he is as well. So that's kind of a cool synchronicity. We can kind of have that conversation, but not that it matters. But still, what I found strange was that, of course, there's a conspiracy involved in the trade of such a superstar as Luka Doncic at 24 years old. I don't even think he was 25 yet, and and he's an extraordinary player, and he was essentially kind of dealt for pennies on the dollar, which caused a lot of just there was definitely a huge reaction in regard to the news, and so at first I was under the impression that the Dallas Mavericks were still owned by Mark Cuban. And that's not true at all. I didn't realize that the majority shares of the Dallas Mavericks in that organization and franchise were actually owned by Miriam Adelson, the widow of Sheldon Adelson, who is directly involved in the Vegas shooting, right? And also been described as a Republican kingmaker when he was still alive. And Miriam Adelson is really the one who effectively funded really the rebuilding of the temple in regard to Trump's Israeli policy. And so, yeah, you just consider the impact of such an individual as a Miriam Adelson now becoming the majority shareholder of the Dallas Mavericks, and then deciding that essentially you have to tie this back. Again, I mentioned the Vegas shooting. Sheldon Adelson was a casino mogul, right? Before his death. And so there's a reason that he was involved in the Vegas shooting. But what is interesting is that apparently all of this hinges upon the intent to legalize gambling in Texas, and that was what Miriam Adelson was hoping to achieve. And so once she was shut down in that sort of as far as like her perspective and vision in regard to this legalization process. She's a businesswoman. First of all, she doesn't give a shit about sports ball, right? And that's something that is also important to acknowledge. And so you have to realize that she's not really concerned about, selling off one individual asset when you can accumulate multiple, resources from that asset and then repurpose those resources for some potential, like you could clearly build as a franchise upon trading an individual asset like a Luka Doncic. So it's important to at least acknowledge that, that fact. But still,
we got another caller.
Hell yeah. Anyway, to finish this off, because really in the context of the grand scheme of things, it probably doesn't matter at all. But still, knowing about the individual, prominent, let's say the prominent individuals like a Miriam Adelson being involved, you see a Mark Cuban who's like, yeah, I wouldn't have fucking traded him for that. Even Mark Cuban, as retarded as he is, he realizes how that was a huge mistake. But apparently she was like, all right, fuck it. I'll move the team. I'll move the Dallas Mavericks to Vegas. If you don't want to legalize gambling in Texas, I'll move them to Vegas. And the league said, fuck you, bitch. We aren't going to allow that. They were just, the Mavericks have a huge fan base. They were just in the finals. Like, why would we allow that to happen? Right. And so then she says, okay, then I'll just sell your best player for pennies on the dollar, essentially, and we'll move forward from there. And I think there's more to it, obviously, as far as the potential motivations there. But I find it very interesting that is kind of the conspiracy revolving around the Luka Doncic trade. So it doesn't matter where you are, as far as like in regard to where your interests lie, man. There are some special interest groups that are manipulating the outcome. I guarantee you that much, right? And so here we are, going. You guys don't give a shit about sports ball, but still, it's like you have someone implicated who is clearly a very prominent individual on the political stage, and so yeah, worthwhile.
Well, all right, we have another caller. I do want to say I also just I noticed someone told me our tinfoil hat just dropped. I don't know if that's legit or not, but there's somebody in one of my group chats. I just saw that. But anyways, we have a caller in here. You are on Already Dead with Jose and Austin, and obviously young Jules. What is up? What it do?
What's up, Jose, Austin, Jules? How are y'all?
Doing well. Well.
I had one thing to say, but since you just said tinfoil hat, I was on Spotify and I saw it did drop.
Hell yeah.
But Sam spelled Gladio wrong. He spelled it Galito.
Motherfucker, Sam, God.
Even Operation Gelato.
Oh, yeah, man. That's fucking awesome. Let me see if I can screenshot it if he hasn't changed it yet. I can send it to you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, tag me on Twitter. I'll bring it up on the show if you do it before we end.
I guarantee that's funny, though. That's the fuck.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but okay, what's up, man?
So I was calling. So obviously we've all seen all the Thomas Massey stuff on Twitter today and yesterday. I noticed an article from 2 days ago on the Libertarian Institute after Thomas Massey tweeted that he might run for Senate. They've already started a preemptive war on Thomas Massey, the AIPAC and Israel's lobby. The article's by James Rushmore on there. And it said, if Thomas Massey chooses to enter the race for U.S. Senate in Kentucky, RJC campaign budget to ensure he's defeated will be unlimited. This is the Republican Jewish Coalition CEO.
Well, shit. Yeah, no, you just shared that to me, didn't you? I saw you share that on Twitter.
I did.
Yeah, I already saw it. I saw you were live. I'll probably read that tomorrow for sure. Yeah. That'll cover it tomorrow.
I saw you were live, so I was like, I'll call. It was my first time calling, so.
Hell yeah, dude. But yeah, no, definitely. That I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that definitely plays a part in there. And obviously, let's be real, it's predictable. He was going to vote the way he was going to vote. But yeah, and I guess any other thoughts, any questions before we let you go? I guess we'll talk about that a little bit. But just yeah. Anyways, there you go. See, I think one of you guys brought it up. Yeah, there you go. So, but any other thoughts, questions? Nope. Good.
Holy shit! I didn't realize we had so many
We
Hey, I
can't hear
can't
him.
hear him anymore.
Yeah. We can't hear him.
Oh shit, you guys. Oh, sorry, you totally got cut off. They fucked up and kicked you off. You guys fucked up. Damn it.
Oh
you
shit,
guys,
I kicked him off. My
Hold
bad.
on,
dude.
hold
Stop
on,
it.
hold
Stop.
on.
You guys stop doing it. You stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop doing
I
it.
didn't do anything. I didn't do
Whatever
anything.
you're
I
doing.
shared the.
Oh,
I'll
never
stop
mind. I gotta
sharing,
remove
dude.
it. There we
I'll
go.
stop sharing.
All
My
right,
bad.
there you go. Now say what you were saying.
Sorry, bro.
They cut you. They
Oh,
actually
yeah, I was
changed the thing. Sorry.
It was
I
my
think the
fault.
last
That's
thing
all
you
right.
said that you missed was just that you about the Oklahoma City. He said a nice thing about my Oklahoma City bombing series. He's from Oklahoma City, and you fucked it up,
Yeah.
Austin. You cut it
Dude,
out.
that's all me, man. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. All right. Anyways, go ahead. My bad. I'm sure you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, no problem. But yeah, just I'm from Oklahoma City. Love the series, and I showed it to my cousin who's a firefighter here in Oklahoma City, and he really enjoys it too.
Hell yeah, dude. If you ever hear any inside information, hit me up for sure. Definitely looking to have people on there. I almost put together an episode a while back with some people. Do I have a fucking? Are you still on the phone? Do I have another call now? Oh shit! I got another.
Yeah,
Call.
I'm
All right,
still on
well
the
I gotta
phone.
let you go, bud. I got another call. All right, let's mute
Hey, no
this. I'm
problem.
gonna go over the other call. What the fuck? All right, let's go.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
see you,
brother.
bud. All right, bye.
I guess I can start talking since
What happened? Hold on.
So
Sorry, I was.
Jose's muted. My bad. I didn't even realize what was going on. Yeah, I'm not going to share my screen while we wait for Jose to bring on the next individual guest who just called in.
Really?
But,
We have another one?
Yeah, it looks like it.
We got another, boys.
Holy
Go ahead.
shit, dude.
You're
That's-
on
that's
Already
correct.
Dead with Jose and Austin and Young Jules. Go, and we will not fuck it up this time. What's up, man?
We will not fuck you.
Nothing. I just want to know, did you touch on the Surefire magazines when you were going over the Vegas shooting?
Surefire magazines. The
Okay. So these are allegedly Paddock was using a bump fire stock and these Surefire magazines, which hold between 60 and 100 rounds. And they're basically box magazines, not belt feeds.
It was automatic.
And they are notorious in the industry. They're no longer made because they do not feed reliably. The idea that he was able to like crank off 60 or 100 round bursts are impossible. Like no one's ever got those magazines to run consistently for more than about 30 rounds.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Austin, just remind you, Austin, he can't hear you. So
yeah, I know.
I know. I just wanted to put that out there just because like that's something that within like the 2A community that like it's like kind of a joke that the idea that he would have been able to use these magazines effectively when everybody knows they don't run reliably. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there as another little data point.
Well, it checks out. Well, you got anything else before we let you go? We're probably gonna start wrapping here, anyways. So, but I appreciate you calling.
Nah, man, thanks for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate you calling.
Tower
in.
Gang for life, baby.
Hell yeah, baby. Tower Gang. NFTD, baby. See you, dude. Appreciate it. All right, bye. All right. Well, shit, man. We're like at right perfect time. I already got my wife eyeing me. I think. Is there anything else you guys really wanted to get into? I mean, I think I feel like it's a good way. We ended with a few calls. I don't know if you're gonna be able to time to join me in the morning, Austin, but there's plenty that we could dig in tomorrow. Yeah, I mean,
I think I just bullshitted too much, honestly, because I had so much more to discuss.
Well, pop into the morning dump tomorrow, buddy.
I know it makes sense.
It's always there waiting for you.
For sure, dude. Like, dude, the past few days, I was just when I saw you posting about like talking about Karen Bass, I was like, fuck. Like it was the fear of missing out 100% taking effect. But still, it was something that I'm glad we have the morning show, man. I am,
absolutely,
because it's something that where I wouldn't necessarily be as exposed to certain areas of interest and sort of layered narratives that are taking place. It definitely pays off being as
100%.
plugged in, as much as it's difficult to be as plugged in as it takes. You know, it's because it's, as far as just like psychologically, there's a toll.
It helps you hone your message so well. You know,
I believe that is true, brother. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it as well. But yeah, one day we're gonna have to talk about Marion Petty and his military service record and the investigative leads memo and how it ties all the way into the finders and a lot of different things that will be very important in regard to what we kind of like just as far as the different areas of investigation that we kind of pursue. You know what I mean? But yeah, brother, I don't know, man. We could sit here forever and talk about all this shit. So of course, like, Jules, I'm gonna continue to bring these overlapping threads of like ancient Mesopotamian deities, to the
You do that. Dude.
I just think it's so fucking
Bring it
vital.
on.
Yeah, I
why
think
not?
it's vital as well to understand the overall philosophy and the
Mhm.
occult nature of things, and it's not like these things happen, and they're sort of. I know they're compartmentalized at the operational level for plausible deniability, but not in any way are they compartmentalized in regard to the occult philosophical context and implication to the reasons. And again, this is why I just had William on to talk Catcher in the Rye. I'm sitting there fucking reeling, man. Like it was one of the craziest things I've ever. JD Salinger is like a part of some Jewish intelligence group that was on the Nazi, like as far as in World War II on the Western Front. Like, dude, it's one of the craziest things that I've. It's crazy, man. He's interrogating these Nazi psychological operations officers and like basically then goes to a Jesuit training camp when he gets back home domestically to then learn with these other literary agents who then kind of like form this mockingbird approach to how do we provide a mind control manual to the public, right? Unbeknownst to them. And then we kind of target these vulnerable individuals for Manchurian candidates, as far. Anyway, we could talk forever, brother. So all is well. I might as well plug my shit right now. So first of all, nothing but love for all of you. Jose, Jules, you're my brothers.
Love you too.
I'm super excited that our tinfoil hat episode just dropped. I hope people enjoy this Gladio umbrella that we presented. I honestly don't think that anyone's ever presented Gladio in this fashion. I truly believe that, man. I've never been exposed to it. And if it's out there, please send it to me, because I'm almost under the impression that, man, it seems like the timing, the chronology of when the CIA was formed, that it was formed to potentially be, it was formed as a priority to manage the Gladio network that was already well implemented at the time. And so that fact alone is one of the strangest connections that I've ever discovered. And the realization of the financing of the Vatican Bank and God's banker, right? When it comes to Roberto Calvi and all these strange connections to the Manson murders and shit, like it's just one of the craziest stories of all time. And if you don't realize that Gladio is potentially that umbrella that provides the window into this, like, man, what seems like a clandestine
it's the interlink
intelligence
between what
apparatus.
Jules talks about too. It's like the interlink between what Jules
truly
talks
is,
about
brother.
too. Like
There's a
like,
fucking
all
reason
connected,
we
dude.
found each other. There's
It's
a
all
reason
connected.
we
There is a
found
reason.
each other.
There's a reason I autistically hit y'all up like a week into podcasting. It was like, hey, I like y'all stuff.
Absolutely, man. But anyway, we have plenty more to talk about.
hell
so
yeah.
we
And we'll
might
do
as well
that
put a
tomorrow
pin
at
in it.
10 a.m. Eastern. Be sure to join us on me and Austin's platforms. I don't know if you'll be joining me, Austin, but either way, I'll be putting them out on, at the very least, on your YouTube and your Twitter, so people keep an eye out for that. But Austin, want to let them know where they can find you at, though?
Yeah, at the Underclass Podcast. Definitely support the Patreon if you have the means to, and you feel like any of my work has resonated with you, for sure. Please, the Patreon is the best place to support me. If only it provides some incentives as well. You can access the whatever this is, the show I'm doing behind the paywall with Brad Binkley and Sam Tripoli, and then beyond that, like how grateful I am, at this moment for that opportunity. Like, my God, man, you know what I'm saying? Beyond the financial impact, just what a beautiful outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, and beyond that, man, like, Sam's like such a beautiful person. You know what I'm saying? Like he truly does like care about a lot of these.
He's awesome, dude.
I mean, he cares about our success as well.
Galito.
Which is just Galito. Oh, Operation Galito. Hell yeah!
He
dude.
must have had me on his. He must have had me in his mind when he wrote it, thinking like Galison, Galito, and then just
Yeah. By the way, on our last episode 4 of whatever this is, he starts out by going with Jose Galison, like on fucking tinfoil hat. He did the exact fucking same thing. But anyway, yeah, I'll let Jules speak.
Yeah, Jules, where can they find you at, Jules?
Yeah, guys. I will be on Nephilim Death Squad, like I said, tomorrow at noon Central. You want to hear me talk more about Lamash 2 and Pazuzu and all those fun guys? Come over there. We'll be hanging out. And then right after that at 2:00 Central, me and the Paranoid American are having Shane Cashman on Sound Science. So it's going to be a fucking banger. Y'all come hang out. We're going to be listening to some Pantera and some other shit. Good shit. Yeah, man. We had Wes Cage on the other day, Nick Cage's son. It was a banger. Wes is awesome. Yeah, guys, got a lot of shows coming up. You can find me on X at Graypilled Pod, Instagram, Graypilled_podcast. I started making clips again and, shorts and whatnot. So be posting those. Also, Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Patreon. If you want to hear me talk about this stuff a lot more, I also have like Patreon-only episodes that I do that I never release to the public. Some older episodes that I've taken down that you can find the links to on there that I'll be posting a bunch of those soon. And patreon.com/Grateful Podcast, guys.
Well, hell yeah. Well, and on our side of things, if you guys want to support the show, but you don't want to chip in a buck, you guys can make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on the audio podcatchers, leave a 5-star review. That helps a bunch. But if you do want to help out, obviously cash is king. That goes the furthest. Patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That's where you get the early access to episodes. I'm doing 1 to 2 of those a week now. You also get an ad-free RSS feed. And then on top of all that, you can be a talking head on this show right here, Already Dead, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's where you can get the video call feature. The highest level of my Patreon is my sponsors. I read them off every episode as a big thank you to them. I have my co-host on Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad. Also have at Brigade at ZOVERACK at _Infant Zeal. Tim Tuttle at Jeleon Klebold. Then Will Bell is the delicious blueberry rabbit eye wine. Then big fan of the show, Torn May. Then at INWARDLOVEER. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, do that at Tower Gang Jose. That's the best place to tag me and stuff to read on the morning show. Tag Austin as well too. That way, in case he's running it and I'm not. But with that, we're out of here. Love you all. This is fun. Show up again next week and show up for our daily show. With that, we're out of here. See y'all. Bye bye bye.